Hello, hello, and welcome to the KCK Inspiring Moments with Kaylin radio show. I am your host, Kaylin John Louis, and I am so excited to be on the air with you all today. I hope everyone is having a blessed day. You've taken time to relax, or you're simply just grateful to be alive. I know I am. It has been a very long week, but good week. I'm happy to simply be able to be back, have more conversations, and talk about the stuff that's going on in our community. For those who've been listening, I know and I want you to know that I would not be able to do this without you all support. I would not be able to stand here without your help and without your push. So I greatly appreciate every single person who listens, who tunes in. You really are the backbone of what keeps me here. And I look forward to continuing giving you those inspirational moments and those hot and heavy conversations. But I encourage you to download the Hallelujah 95.3 app so that you can listen to the show on the go on your electronic devices. Also, tag a friend and have them listen in to today's upcoming discussion because I really do feel like it's something that I want to push out. I love being able to feature things going on in the community. I share that a lot because without community, we are nothing. I believe when we come together, when people work together to build each other up, that's when we are at our strongest form. And so I'm happy to be able to talk about that today on this week's, episode and segment of Inspiring Moments with Kaylin. I'm thrilled to welcome a guest who is the inspiring founder of All Girls Matter Incorporated. And as someone who deeply believes in the power of uplifting the next generation, I am passionate about highlighting organizations that focus on supporting young girls as they grow into strong, empowered women. And my guest has dedicated herself to making a difference in girls' lives, and her work is truly transformative. In our conversation, we're going to explore the challenges young girls face today and how the proper guidance and support can profoundly shape their futures. Whether you're a parent, an educator, a mentor, or someone who cares about the future of our communities, this episode is going to offer valuable inspiration and insights. So join us as we dive into the topic for today, which is empowering the next generation, a conversation with Miss Ashely Lurry. And y'all, I'm so happy about what we have to talk about because I know that she's known me all my life. I've known her since I was born. I'm just happy to be able to see what she's doing. But I love being able to give my guests an introduction. So, Miss Ashely is a wife and mother of four, two of them being boys and two girls. She graduated from St. Leo University and is currently at Tallahassee State College getting her bachelor's degree in business administration. She went to Pace for Girls and believes everybody deserves a second chance. She is really big on metaphors and philosophies, and Socrates is one of her favorite philosophers, with her biggest philosophy that comes from him saying, encourage face-to-face communication as the best way to build community consensus and trust. One of her favorite sayings is also from TD Jakes, which states, confrontation clears up confusion. So we have like I said before, we've known each other for several years. I'm happy to have her on my show today. Welcome to the show, Miss Ashely Lurry. Uh-oh, you muted. There we go.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited that you're on.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, let's go straight into the show. I'm going to let the audience get to know you a little bit more, kind of share what All Girls Matter is for all the people who do not know and what inspired you to start the organization.
Well, All Girls Matter it's more than inspiration. Right now, it's more every day seeming like a hopeful solution. Lori Page, was Miranda's daughter. And Miranda was my close childhood friend. We all went to the same church. I was supposed to be Lori's godmother, but as soon as Miranda finished school, she moved further down south. We kept in contact, but not enough for me to play a role. You know what I'm saying? Like in her life, but it still hurts because that's a close friend, and you see it all the time. But when it happened to Miranda, just to see her hurt, just to know that your child is not there, and I've watched you carry her, I've watched her grow up. It bothered me. And then I also had an experience where my aunt prophesied to me, years ago, and told me that I was going to be there for girls that needed me. So right now I'm just trying to find my purpose, and I'm praying that the program does impact girls and helps girls.
That's good because there's a lot of girls who need that, that backbone, that person that's going to help them. I know for me growing up, all the people besides my mom and my godmom, my village of women were very much crucial to who I am today. I mean, of course, the men play a role, but it's something about having a female figure in your life that kind of molds you, even if they aren't your direct parent or even if they aren't blood. That doesn't make that bond any less strong. Having them in your life to really help you grow into the person that you can be is something that's big. So I'm really happy to hear that you're following that calling and following that purpose that you were given, because everybody has their own purpose, and it's good that you're stepping up, especially right now where our generation is. I say the title is empowering the next generation. And from all the generations, everybody is different. I would say from my mom's generation to mine, we're kind of in a lot of different places right now. Everybody holds different values, and there's a lot of people who value things differently. One thing that they value differently is how they measure success. And so I'm wondering, how do you hope All Girls Matter will help define girls or define success for girls in the program?
So success for me, by the girls joining the program, that would mean that the parents feel more confident that their girls are safe and more aware of their surroundings, and hopefully it means that we can give our girls the tools that they need in the future for adulthood. And my main goal is to just make sure, when you turn 18, you realize a lot of the stuff you learn in school, you're hitting the requirements, but you're missing a lot of life skills. You know what I'm saying? An example for me would be financial literacy, or maybe mental health, or maybe even anger management. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those things you don't learn in school anymore. I mean, even if you did, it's maybe 5 seconds on it or something. So I just want to give girls a space where they can manage and learn those, skills, and utilize those skills in real life. And that's what I want for them.
And that's so important because I don't think a lot of young girls understand certain things unless people talk about them. I mean, growing up, there's so many topics that, yes, they were talked about, but I didn't understand them truly until I experienced them for myself. And when you look at mental health as a whole topic, I mean, a lot of people didn't start taking mental health seriously until my generation. I mean, I see a lot of us really being open about it and open with our feelings, open with our emotions. And so because we're so open with it, you have that different, stigma on whether or not people address it, whether or not people don't. But you have so many young girls who are dealing with anxiety and dealing with depression, and they don't have anybody to talk about it with. Even when it comes to things with relationships, there's so many things that people don't talk about. And I think having those mentors in the community that can educate them, who can build them, who can give them resources to make sure that they are equipped to be successful in the world, equipped to make something of themselves, and equipped to become the next empowered generation of women is huge. Are there any educational programs or mentorship that you are hoping to offer with AGM? What are some of the things that you have going on or have in the works that's going to start prepping girls for their future?
So, when you speak about mentorship, I saw that and I was like, yeah, it's there, but it's definitely down the line, and I'm not saying that negatively, but my focus when I first ever thought of it was trying to figure out where the problem was, and everybody just sat there and kind of analyzes Miranda and Lori's situation, trying to figure out what a million and one of the problems could have been, when in reality, nobody ever said, let's talk to her friends. Did she have any friends? And it kind of dawns like she, if even if she did, no one spoke up to know anything. So I want to put girls in an environment where they can build those friendships, where if they're a part of All Girls Matter, somebody knows something, somebody knows what's been going on, not to just be alert, but to, if even if it could have gave Lori a sense of I could find in her, you know what I'm saying, there would have been more of a backstory than just there's a disappearance, you kind of feel where I'm coming from. And I just sat there and kind of pondered on that for a while, and then I thought about, instead of me sitting here pondering what it could have been, what can I do to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, anybody watching the news has seen Lori Page in headlines. And I mean, it's not a happy story that anybody wants to have to live. It's not a reality most people wanna talk about or address, and so the fact that you saw it and kinda took the initiative, I wish so many more people would do that, because there's a lot of people who see issues going on, but they don't do anything or at least initiate something to try to fix that issue. But I mean, even when it comes to these things, and I wanna emphasize to the audience, this is a newer organization, and that's why I love bringing organizations on here, because everybody needs exposure. When I started Kaylin's Caring Connection, I didn't have the platform that I have now, but I had other people in the community who helped, bolster and who helped support it. And I strongly believe in supporting other people. So, yes, y'all get involved with All Girls Matter. Learn more about the organization. Get in tune. See how your daughters can fit in there. There's a lot of things that people need to do. I know there's a lot of students who are in high school and middle school and elementary school that, if they're not in after school programs because they can't, afford it, or they can't be in the place where their parents can take them, they need things to do outside of school that's going to keep them in the right places, that's going to give them and foster those same principles they're learning at home. And so this
Right.
is definitely something that everybody should be a part of.
And there's definitely a space for everyone that wants to, contribute. I feel like I want to make it a an effort, but more so for girls and women as a whole, to have more of a community, you know what I'm saying. I also feel like there should have been a community there to speak on Lori's behalf, more than just her teacher. So it's a lot of background behind it for sure.
Well, now that you mentioned that, what I want to ask, what has been your outlook on kind of what's going on with women right now in the world? Have you had, I know earlier I mentioned my support system, but did you have certain people in your life that, even if they were blood, if they weren't blood, they were supporting you, they were checking in on you? What was that, bond that you had with other women in your life that just made you know that you wanted to be able to be that role for someone else, or even be a small part in somebody's village?
Well, I'm a life changes baby, so I have a great big circle of supporters. I was just telling my husband the other day. Well, actually, it wasn't the other day. It was around the time of the reunion. I looked around the room and I was like, I don't stay the night at everybody's house in here before. And I remember one time I stayed the night at your house. I think you were like a tiny baby, and I just had a story to tell. And it's like everybody in that church has imparted into my life in some type of way. And I done stayed with a few people for long amounts of time. So I've had a blessed impact of community, but I also had my share of trouble. So but any time that I've ever had trouble, I've always had, like, somebody there to chastise me, or discipline me, or let me know, this is right and this is wrong, but I wish I had more of a friendship base, more of stuff to keep myself busy. I moved around a lot and that impacted me with friends. But one thing I always had in Tallahassee was summer camp. A lot of people know me from Tallahassee just from summer camps every year. I was at a different one because I was always here. Even if I lived in Miami or Orlando, I was always here. So it's like I know people and I've had that, but I always wanted a steady friendship base. That's where I'm kind of going with that. And I felt like if I had more stuff to keep me busy, something like this, I could have stayed out of a lot of trouble. I could have been influenced by girls like Miranda. Miranda is a genius. And then you have you. Like, I'm just so proud of you. I just want to give you your flowers right now. So I just feel like if you can have that encouragement where, every girl has a different personality. But if you see it, like my daughter, she's very easily influenced. I want her to be around people that are going to influence her positively. You know, like if y'all were the same age, for sure. Like, I want you to be friends with Kaylin. I'm going to give you that space to choose your friends, but I'm also going to surround you around the kind of friends that I want you, to associate with. And I'm gonna hope that they influence you positively. So, that's like the main goal. But I have, far as adult wise, I just wish that I could have had more friendship and community wise. And that's why I said, the mentorship is great, but I'm also focusing on building like a bondship between girls, something that the girls can have for themselves.
That's important. I mean, there's a lot of people who feel like they don't have the right crowd to fit in. There's a lot of people who are so self-conscious when it comes to even going to school. I mean, our generation is so glued to technology sometimes that people don't really always make those connections anyway. And so that's a really good thing. And I do want to touch back on what you said earlier, because of the parents listening and the teachers listening, that's a really big component on having and making sure that, yes, your children choose your friends, but you also being careful of who's in their circle. Because I can remember my mom will be real quick to look at my circle of women around me or circle of friends around me and tell me whether or not they think they should stay or they should be gone. She's going
Yep.
to make sure I know who's in my life and who's surrounding me. Because I mean, there is a quote that says the five people around you look and describe who you are. They make up who you are. And I was that type of person where I didn't like my circle big anyway. But there were a lot of people in my life, whether they were my best friends or they're just people that I talk to for encouragement or different things. Even now, where I've been in places where I never intended to mentor other people, but other people have been the space of looking up to me. It's so important that young girls have people to look up to.
For sure.
And girls my age, we have people to look up to. I mean, I've been looking up to so many greats, between Michelle Obama, between the people in my village, like you said, at Life Changers, and even in my own family. There's so many women that I've looked up to, but to now be in the space where other people are looking up to me, it just really does make your heart want to go faster and make you want to push harder so that you can show others the real importance of being there, of having representation. Representation matters. And that's why I'm so happy that you started All Girls Matter, because there are some girls out there who don't feel like they matter. They don't feel like their voices matter. They don't feel like the opinions that they have matter. And they end up, like you said, in those situations where they resort to a lot of the things they shouldn't be involved in
Yep.
for attention, for likes, for the fame, for whatever, just because of the fact that they feel like they don't have a community that supports them. And so, as a community, people listening, get involved. We got to help support this and help push this. Everybody wants to support the games and the concerts, but no, let's support what's going on in the community as well, because it's support like this where you have people who are running for office right now who are saying, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but not everybody is actually putting in the work to make that happen. So I'm so happy that you're doing that. What are some ways that you want the community to support the organization and want them to get involved? What are some ways people can be an asset to All Girls Matter?
There are a lot of ways. I was sitting here thinking, people always say that, donations are like the primary way to help any kind of nonprofit, but it doesn't always have to be monetary. The basis of the program is more of a classroom base. So, right now, folders. I know I have made a post about folders, which I got enough now, but there's still stuff like I want to do a painting with a twist session. So anybody that could donate materials or even offer to teach the class that may need volunteer hours in college. I would even take a high school um, student that wants to do a painting with a twist session for the girls, and if they like make a supply list, donations of things like that. I'm trying to get guest speakers down the line. I got a segment on hygiene, and I want to make little kits, because that's a real big thing with me, in times of menstrual cycles changing. And right now, I'm in my research era. So everything I hear, I want to fact check. So, like for me, menstrual cycles, I read somewhere where like now the girls are getting it more like 9 years old.
Yes.
And so I want to do a whole segment on that. So anything like I'm not really big on the tampons, but the pads and the panty liners, and the feminine hygiene wipes, and any kind of little donation packets. Like I said, I have it like a classroom setting, and snacks is fine. So, stuff like that. It
Where
doesn't have to be
do you
money.
have do you have a specific place where people can donate it? Is it an address they're sending it to? Is it a cash app they're sending it to? I want people to hear it because there's people who may be listening and say, okay, I want to get involved. I want to help. How can they donate?
I have a cash app, but also if it's something like, a physical donation, I do have a PO box. I can post a PO box on my Facebook page, for donations. I'm always close by to the church. I do live closer to the church, so if the church is like a better location, that's fine too. But I have a PO box. I have my Facebook. Whatever kind of information you need, I can give it to you. You just let me know, and I can also give you my phone number if that helps. It's 850-943-0718. Just text me, and I can meet you wherever.
What's your Facebook for the listeners so they can, get in contact with you there?
The Facebook is All Girls Matter Inc. Inc. And it'll come up. Mine is Ashely Lurry. It's like right attached. Usually my things kind of share, so it's under All Girls Matter. But if you look up my name, it should come up under pages as well.
Yes, y'all please get in tune and y'all please make sure that y'all are donating because this is a big cause. It's something that I feel like a lot of people hear these different organizations. They're like, oh, yeah, they're doing another drive. They're doing another that. Y'all don't realize the impact it has on people. I mean, there's been small things that I've done with a nonprofit and not realize it caught as much people's eye and or helped somebody in a way I would have never thought about until they explained that to me. It's something that's so much bigger than the person that created it. So please, please, please help. But as we'll come back and have you shout that out one more time before we close. But I do want to ask one more question because I know there's some people listening who are like you and want to start something up, may have been fearful. And so what advice would you give to any other young women or young girls who are maybe hesitant to start a new initiative, to start an organization? And what would you tell them to motivate them to keep going even on the days where they may doubt themselves or be scared to step out on faith and make it happen?
Um, when you feel like you're supposed to do something in this world with so much negativity, if it comes back to you, don't backburn it. I backburn this for so long. Like I just put it on a back burner. And I could say it was out of fear. I could say it was out of people in my ear. Nonprofits are a lot of work. Rich people do that. Um, we have those. It's a lot of fundraising. People are not donating. You have stuff like that. But when God puts something in your spirit, you gotta go for it. And if you fail, so what? Who cares? in the like maybe 2 months later, is either going you gonna win or people gonna forget about it and they're gonna be on to the next thing. And one thing I always tell people, you ever been somewhere and you just thinking to yourself, you see something, and I always use this example. Every time you go to the hotel and you get that travel soap and it's time to leave, you always sit there. I know for me, it's like, I'm not taking that soap with me. You know what I'm saying? And most times I just started bringing my own in a travel case and leaving that for the next person to use that may be sitting there longer. But I used to say to myself, people you really use these bars of soap and then they're no good. And one time I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I wonder if there's a program I could start to give this soap to people who need it, but hygienically. You know what I'm saying? And I be dog. It was a couple years ago. There's a guy or a little boy in Africa. Have you heard about that? He started a nonprofit where he has hotels donate their used soap and he melts it down and he distributes it in Africa.
I
And
did
I'm
not
like,
know that.
yeah. And I'm like, oh, that could have been my idea. I thought about it, So it's just stuff like that, that you think about. And if it comes to you and it's constantly on your mind and you say, dang, I could do it, just go for it. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I definitely would tell somebody who's nervous that there's so many organizations out there. And like Ashley said, there's going to be a lot of people that tell you there's so much going on. But the biggest thing that was enforced to me and the biggest thing that I tell myself every day is that, yeah, everybody may have other stuff that you're doing, but nobody's going to be able to do it the way that God has given you to do it.
That is
Everybody has their
exactly.
everybody has their own idea. Everybody has you may have similar things. Like I use the example too with the lemonade. There's some people who sell lemonade, but the way you sell lemonade may be different than somebody else selling it. You have so much more to you that you wouldn't know unless you released it. Coming from my own experience, even not even just talking about my nonprofit, simply using my voice. Did not know until I got to college how many people actually listen to the things that I say. Because, it's easy to get on and for you to talk and be like, okay, well, I'm just doing podcasting to do it. But there's so many things within us that people don't realize are not just for you. Like there's some things that you think about, some things that you plan about, some things that you do for you that other people are looking and saying, wow, if she can get up every day and she can encourage people, or if she can get up every day and she can be positive, so can I. Or if she can start this idea and she can help this person out, then so can I. Even when I did the homeless backpack drive, if she can be out there and she can, not
That
have
was
all the money
so
in the world.
inspiring. That
Thank
was
you.
that was very, very inspiring. When I saw you, I think I was cleaning, and I was just sitting there like, dog, I really want to be a part of something like that. So I think you're doing a beautiful job. I really do.
Thank you so much. And that's why I wanted to have the conversation of powering the next generation, because these are the things that the younger generations, the next generation has to see so they can keep paying it forward. The more and more we keep reinforcing our sense of community and our sense of sticking together, the more we're going to grow together, the more we're going to build a better and more empowered and more successful generation. And the more and more we're just going to keep holding on to each other. There's too much going on in the world for us not to stick together, right? So this is what the show is, y'all. Make sure y'all please connect with All Girls Matter. Again, that's on Facebook at All Girls Matter Inc. You also can follow Ashley. It's at Ashely Lurry, Lurry. Please make sure that you get in contact. If you feel it placed on your heart that you just want to help, she's trying to start up, please. And I would even suggest, Ashley, even if you post a wish list or you post something people can see for them to be able to, donate to. We did an Amazon wish list before where we just put stuff on there
Okay.
and had people to, if they felt led in their heart. I did it for my graduation stuff. I've done it with other things. So I would suggest that too, so people can get involved and be able to help out.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for being on. Thank you to those who listened to today's show. I'm so excited to have been able to have this conversation, and I'm just glad to be on every week. Before I close out, I always ask that you connect with me on all my social media platforms. You can subscribe to the the YouTube channel, which is KCK Inspiring Moments with Kaylin, turning on your post notifications and subscribing so that you can hear more podcasts and radio show segments. You can follow me on Instagram at Kaylin Cares 15. You can follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn at Kaylin's Caring Connection. And by all means, please go to the website, which is www.kaylinscaringconnection.com, to check out all of what I'm doing. I keep telling y'all this, but I mean it. We do have some stuff on the horizon for Kaylin's Caring Connection. So please make sure that you are staying in tune to those social media platforms. And as I wrap up the show, always remember one thing: you are loved, you are enough, and you matter. Don't let anyone tell you any different. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next KCK Inspire Moments with Kaylin radio show. Until next time, be blessed.